It's Brooksquad and you know that we the best, yeah. All these other schools ain't even no test yet. We got the best curriculum and activities, and you know that you gotta come around for our festivities.
Brooksquad, 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 ayy. Brooksquad, 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 ayy. Brooksquad, 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 ayy. Brooksquad, 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 ayy.
It's Brooksquad and you know that we the best, yeah. All these other schools ain't even no test yet. We got the best curriculum and activities, and you know that you gotta come around for our festivities.
Good morning and welcome to Brooksquad TV at home edition on this Friday, March 12th. I'm Imaya, and tomorrow, March 13th, will mark 1 year since school shut down in Georgia for coronavirus. It was a year ago we learned the term virtual learning. Our nation shut down and our lives completely changed. Jalen gives us a look back at all that has happened this year due to the coronavirus.
In this week's question of the week, we wanted to know how a full year of dealing with the coronavirus has affected you. Here's what you said.
I'm gonna legit be honest. I hate this. It has ruined, well, it's been decent on education, but my whole personal life has been destroyed thanks to COVID. Like, I can't go anywhere, and just staying in house or else just going to school is not the best.
So they want to know, has this pandemic affected my education? In a way, yes or no. Because back then, I actually used to be a bit more hands-on than usual. And this year, kind of bit of the same, except I have difficulties logging on, of course, internet. And it's a bit more complicated, but in the end, I managed to get myself around it. So really not that big of an issue.
I feel like this pandemic has affected our education because we had to learn to adapt to another way to get our education besides face-to-face. And this pandemic has changed me because I've known how to be more responsible in my work by making sure it's turned in on time, because you'll never know when technology can delay your assignments.
This pandemic has affected me a lot because last year I used to be slacking off a lot, and now I'm more focused and attentive to my work.
It's changed me how I think about things, how I move about things. I have become more mature. I learned to do things on my own. Last year, I would say that I was still a child growing, and I still needed help to do things. And now I know how to do things on my own and be independent.
So it's been a year since COVID has happened, and I can definitely say that my education has definitely been affected drastically. I'm a senior now, so all the senior activities and prom and stuff that I was looking forward to for these past 4 years have kind of gone away. There are definitely ways to kind of still celebrate those small gains, but it's definitely not what it would be like if COVID didn't exist. But all in all, being at home really isn't that bad. I actually really like being virtual now. I used to not like it at all. It used to be really hard to stay focused in school, definitely last year, but I think now it's a lot better and I'm doing pretty well. I like online school. I like being at home now, so that's really it.
The coronavirus pandemic has certainly changed the way we do everything and canceled milestone events like prom for last year's and this year's seniors. We have gone from wearing one mask to now wearing two in order to avoid even more contagious newly developed strains. In this next short clip, Elgin shows us how students felt at the beginning of quarantine compared to how they felt after spending weeks in quarantine.
Attention all students, due to an unfortunate virus, we will be releasing all students for the next 2 weeks.
Bruh, we got 2 weeks off? Say less.
Many months later.
Cases in Georgia are still growing. More than 1,600 infections now, over 500 people hospitalized, and the death toll is at nearly 60. It's because of these staggering numbers that the governor is ordering all public schools closed for another month, affecting hundreds of thousands of students, parents, and teachers.
Numbers in one Georgia school district on the rise. More than 1,000 students now forced to stay home after dozens tested positive during the first few days of.
A Bankstown mother and daughter have been charged after a fight over toilet paper in Woolworths. The vision of the shoppers arguing with another woman went viral as supermarkets impose new purchase limits to curb coronavirus hysteria.
According to a new study, the Black Lives Matter movement is linked to more than 9 in 10 riots across America. The study defines riots as demonstrations in which any demonstrator engages in violently disruptive or destructive acts as well as mob violence.
Soon, this will all be yours, my son.
Attention, the schedule for the next 2 weeks has changed, so Cobb County teachers can get their first dose of the COVID vaccine over the next 2 weeks. Classes will take place Monday through Thursday. Friday will be the initial support day that is usually on Wednesdays. The change affects the weeks of March 15th and March 22nd. Then in April, the same will happen again. So teachers can receive their second dose of the vaccine during the weeks of April 12th and 19th. Classes will also be Monday through Thursday.
The Media Center is trying to check down books that were checked out before lockdown a year ago. If you have books you had checked out and have not turned them in yet, now is the time to turn them in because late fines are being waived. There is a return books box inside the front doors to the main building. The drop box will be placed outside Tuesday afternoon, so you can just drive by on Wednesdays to drop off your books. Be sure to take advantage of the no-fee return while it's available in March.
Seniors, listen up. Your last day of school are May 13th and May 14th. On Thursday, May 13th, seniors will take their third and fourth block exam. Then on May 14th, you will take your first and second block exam. AP testing will be May 14th through May 17th. If you are a senior taking AP tests on May 14th, you will take your AP test and make up for finals. If you are a senior taking an AP test on May 17th, you will have to return to campus to take your AP test.
Remember to check your student email through Cobb Schools. Go to www.cobbk12.org/login-office365. Then log in by using your first.last@students.cobbk12.org and use your school computer password as your password.
The month of March is dedicated to Women's History. Ramaya tests our women's history knowledge in this week's trivia segment.
Hey guys, it's Ramaya, and if you didn't know, it's Women's History Month. So I have a trivia that will test your knowledge on women's history, and hopefully it could teach you something. The trivia will consist of 4 questions, and each question has 2 answer choices. So you can either say it in your head or say it out loud. See what you know about women's history. So the first question says, when did women get the right to vote? Option A says 1933 and option B says 1920. The second question says, how long did it take for women to win the right to vote in the U.S.? Option A says 72 years and option B says 40 years. Question 3 says, what was the first state to allow women to vote? Option A says California and option B says Wyoming. And the fourth question is, who was the first woman to graduate from medical school in the U.S.? Option A says Anna Howard Shaw and option B says Elizabeth Blackwell. For the first question, when did women get the right to vote? If you said B, 1920, then you are correct. For the second question, how long did it take for women to win the right to vote in the U.S.? If you said A, 72 years, you are correct. For question 3, what was the first state to allow women to vote? If you said B, Wyoming, then you are correct. And for the last question, who was the first woman to graduate from medical school in the U.S.? If you said B, Elizabeth Blackwell, you are correct. Feel free to let me know your scores, and I hope you guys have a good weekend.
Hi, I'm Dylan with your weekend forecast. If you like the weather this week, then you will like the weather this weekend because we are going to continue with our trend of cloudy but warm days. On Saturday, it's going to be mostly cloudy with a high of 77 and a low of 53. Then on Sunday, it is going to be just slightly cooler and cloudy with a high of 71 and a low of 53. Don't expect the dry weather to last as we are expected to get some rain next week. That's a look at your weekend weather. Now, let's go to Bishop with this week's sports.
Hi, I'm Bishop, and I'm here with your sports news. Today, the varsity girls and boys soccer teams play away games against McEachern. Girls start at 5:30 and boys start at 7:30. Also, the varsity baseball team plays an away game against Temple at 5:30. On Saturday, the JV boys soccer team plays an away game against LaGrange. Time is to be announced. Also on Saturday, the varsity girls and boys track and field have an invitational track meet, which will be held at McEachern starting at 8:30 in the morning. On Monday, the varsity baseball team plays an away game against Campbell at 5:55. On Tuesday, the varsity girls lacrosse team plays an away game against North Springs at 5:55. Also on Tuesday, the varsity girls and boys soccer teams play a home game against East Coweta. Girls start at 6 and boys start at 8. On Wednesday, the varsity and JV girls and boys track and field teams have a track meet against Hillgrove at 4. Also on Wednesday, the varsity baseball team has an away game against McEachern at 5:55. On Thursday, the varsity baseball team has a doubleheader against East Coweta starting at 4. Also on Thursday, the tennis team has a match against Noonan at home starting at 4:30. Also on Thursday, the JV girls soccer team plays an away game against North Springs starting at 5:30. The PHS JRCT Falcon Battalion male and female drill team is headed to the state championship. Saturday, they competed against 15 schools and won 3rd place. For Armed Squad exhibition, 3rd place female unarmed squad, 3rd place female color guard, and 2nd place male color guard, and 2nd place overall. That's all for sports news this week. Now back to you.
It's National Plant a Flower Day. Ozzy shows us why it's important to plant flowers and encourages us to plant a flower today.
Hey everyone, spring's around the corner, and as you may or may not have known, it's March 12th, which is National Plant a Flower Day. Each year, this day is dedicated to the planting of flowers and looking forward to the spring season. National Plant a Flower Day can be celebrated in many different ways, like volunteering at a community garden, or bringing flowers to a friend to brighten their day. It can also be nice to just plant a flower, which is what I'll be going over for those who may not know how. With the planting of flower, the first thing you want to do is make sure you have your potted flowers ready. These can be found at your local store's floral department. Next, you want to dig out a potting hole for your plant. It'll be helpful for your plant if you add a little organic potting soil and fertilizer to the area. Next, you want to gently remove the plant from the pot. If the roots on the bottom are bounded up, you want to take the time to loosen the soil. Try to keep as much of the soil intact. Next, you're going to want to put your flower into the planting hole. As it's placed in, try to smooth the dirt over it that you dug out. Finally, give your flowers a good watering. Make sure you're checking up with your plant over the next couple of days and weeks while maintaining an adequate watering schedule. I encourage everyone to try and get into the spirit of planting a flower, or some of the other activities I suggested. In any case, have a happy Plant of Flowers Day, and thanks for watching.
So now we know flowers serve a purpose for our animal and friends, and they're good for us humans too. On the National Plant a Flower Day, Andy gave us a tour of the Atlanta Botanical Gardens where you will see various different kinds of plants and flowers.
The Atlanta Botanical Garden is a place where you can enjoy the sight and get to see such a variety of plant life. The mission is to develop and maintain plant collections for the purposes of display, education, conservation, research, and enjoyment. The garden has multiple different parts being Rose Garden, Edible Garden, Cascade Garden, Great Lawn, and the Conservatory. The conservatory is the most interesting part because it has a mini jungle inside a building, and it's amazing because it captures everything that you would imagine if you were in a real jungle. I really do recommend going because it gives you a chance to breathe and get to see different plants in the world.
Your book is down to their last 100 copies. Order now because there will not be extras printed. Your books are currently on sale for $75 at www.yourbookordercenter.com. Be sure to use our school code of 328. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
What if all the important things from your school year were never recorded? No memories? No cheering? No laughing? Nothing that made this year different from any other. Now, more than ever, a yearbook reminds us this is a time like none other. Because this year will be different. Students deserve to have their stories captured and told. We all know a school is more than just a physical space. It is the people and their stories that really matter. Yearbook brings a school together. Don't let the memories, cheering, or laughter fade. Hold on to them forever by ordering your yearbook today. Quantities are limited.
Are you having problems connecting to CTLS? Email student.support@cobbk12.org. Parents can also reach out for Cobb technical support at parent.support@cobbk12.org, or they can call 770-426-3330 for help.
Well, that's our show this week. Just remember, 1 year later, we are all still in this together. Be part of the solution, wear a mask, wash your hands, and follow social distancing guidelines. Stay healthy, my friends, and remember, Falcons, believe you can.
It's Brooksquad, and you know that we the best, yeah. All these other schools ain't even no test, yeah. We got the best curriculum and activities, and you know that you gotta come around for our festivities.
Brooksquad, 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 ayy. Brooksquad, 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 ayy. Brooksquad, 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 ayy. Brooksquad, 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 ayy.
It's Brooksquad, and you know that we the best, yeah. All these other schools ain't even no test, yeah. We got the best curriculum and activities, and you know that you gotta come around for our festivities.
Brooksquad.